Hello everyone, it's Sammy Ayo again with SAA Services. I have a welding shop where I do welding, modification, repairs, fabrication. I also have a honeybee apiary. I'm building a honeybee farm and hives. I have a small quail farm that I'm building up. I also do tractor services, lawn care. I do just about anything to make a living and pay the bills with. But today we're gonna do some welding, and as always, I want to start off with a safety moment. I start all my videos with a safety moment because I say that with every one of my videos regarding welding, safety is first. We got to be safe. We got to protect our bodies, protect our minds, protect ourselves so that we can go to work each and every day. So today, my safety moment is going to be about protective clothing when welding and doing just about any kind of heavy industrial work, whether it's welding, mechanic work, or whatnot. We need to protect ourselves. But today I want to talk about welding clothing, especially your shirts and having long sleeves. Now there's lots of things on the market that you can use. They make special welding shirts. They make just sleeves that you can put over a shirt like this. They make leather sleeves for if you're doing a lot of welding where you're welding overhead and you got sparks and a lot of hot sparks and fire coming down on you. It protects you a lot better. I usually use, for most of my welding, I usually use just a denim shirt. They protect me as well as anything else does that is cost effective. The only problem with a denim shirt, this is one of my shirts here, and as you can see, the stitching is torn here on my pocket. This pocket here, from welding and grinding, the sparks and fire have burnt all the stitches off the my pocket lid. I mean, the pocket lid's completely gone off of this one. Another thing with these shirts, denim shirts, is especially if you buy shirts without hemmed bottoms, they get frayed like this just from wear, and that is, believe it or not, that's extremely flammable. That stuff will burn so quick. So if you're grinding or welding, anything producing a lot of sparks, this will catch fire quickly. I have caught many of my shirts on fire. A lot of them you'll see it'll be burned from here to here, have a big old hole in it at the bottom there. Now that's just for your typical welding in a shop or whatnot. Now if you work in a refinery, if you're working offshore in the oil field, almost every place you go is going to require fire retardant clothing, and you'll know whether it's fire retardant or not because it will say FR right there, fire retardant. You'll always see that little orange tag. You can see that from a distance. I mean, I can walk all the way out here and I can tell you from a distance that person's wearing fire retardant clothing. Also, there is a tag right here on your sleeve, and it says HRC 2112. I looked that up a few minutes ago because honestly I didn't know even know exactly what it meant, but that is actually a that's the code or the specification or the standard by which fire retardant clothes are to be made of. Now, I don't know much about the science of it. From my understanding, from what I've been told by safety professionals and this and that, people who are in the safety field, that the only difference between this shirt, which is fire retardant, and this one, which is just a off-the-shelf shirt, is a chemical or something like that that they put in this fabric when it's made new. The problem with that is that that chemical, after they say, I think it was a half a dozen, 6 washes, whatnot, the chemical is gone anyway. So then it almost becomes like this shirt. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know, when you're welding, when you're grinding, when you're doing anything that has to do with, we call it hot work, Make sure you protect yourself, protect your arms. You can't see them very well in this video, but I got scars all over my arms. I got white spots on my tattoo that's been burned from even through these shirts. So it's very important that you wear these shirts because you need all the protection you can get. So anyway, that's my safety moment for today. Now we're fixing to go look at my welding project. I'm going to be welding on a little ornamental wagon for this lady's little garden. It's broken, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment and show you how we're going to go about repairing that. So what we have here today, this is a lady's ornamental wagon that goes in her garden. I do yard work and other stuff for these people, and she knows my background is welding. I've been welding for 30 years. Anyway, she wanted this to get repaired. So as you can see, one of the arms that holds the wagon up has obviously broken off. They tried to do the typical epoxy it back on deal. Of course, you know, in some cases that works for something ornamental, but you're not going to get it to hold very well. You can see where they epoxied it there and epoxied it there. And I'm sure it lasted them for a short while, and that's good, you know, but she wanted to get it repaired correctly. So I'm going to clean this epoxy off. I'm going to clean all that off. Clean that epoxy off of where it was at. And I'm going to clean all this up real good. And I'm going to get it prepared to weld. I'm going to use an electrode. There's my electrodes. I got 4 electrodes right there. That's enough to do this little job with. I'm going to use a 3/32 6011. This is a mild steel, low carbon, low tensile strength rod. Just that 6010 or 6011 rod is what you would kind of call your universal generic rod. I'm sorry, electrode. Let me correct myself, electrode. I told you guys in the previous video the difference between an electrode and a rod. This electrode actually produces electricity. The welding machine will send electricity through this electrode. That flux on that electrode produces what is called an inert gas. You have to have an inert atmosphere to weld with. And what that does is it eliminates all oxygen and any kind of contamination in the atmosphere that you do not want in the weld, and at the same time deposits certain elements to the weld that makes the weld hold correctly, like it puts hydrogen and some carbon and some other elements into the weld. So before we get started, I wanted to show you how I get set up. So here's my ground. I'm grounded right there onto the part. Now, you do not have to ground directly to a part when you're going to weld on it. I could have ground on the frame of my table, or I could have ground on the table. That's why this little spot's right here. Sometimes I'll ground there, but for your best results, you will ground directly to the part, because if you have any interruption between your ground and where you're welding at, you're not going to get a very good result. So I got my ground on the basket. Here's my electrode holder. I will put the electrode in the holder when I get ready to weld. The electrode will go in between the jaws of the holder there, and that's how I will produce electricity from the welding machine, which my welding machine is back over here. There's my ground, and there's my electrode holder, and here's both of them going back to my welding machine. Sorry if this other welding machine is in the way. It's a big, heavy machine, and it's hard to move around. So we're gonna work with this like this. So I am getting ready to dress this up, get this epoxy off of here, clean this area up on here, and get ready to tack weld and weld that on there. So as you can see, that epoxy came right off with nothing but a 4-inch wire wheel, circular wire wheel and a 4-inch grinder. The epoxy came right off, so obviously it wasn't going to hold that weld for it to stay on that basket and hold that basket up for very long. But that's kind of a good thing in this case, because it came right off and is making it easy for me to prepare it to weld. Again, the epoxy came right off, and we're about ready to go ahead and tack weld and complete welding this ear on here to hold her wagon up for her ornamental wagon for her garden. So we have everything all cleaned up, ready to go. We have our ground on our basket here. Here's my electrode holder here. I'm going to place the electrode in the holder, like so. I'm going to set this in place and get a tack weld on it. So I got that end tacked in place. I want to step around here and kind of align it, make it look decent for them, even though it is ornamental. I take all my jobs seriously, try to make them look nice, keep my customers happy and coming back. That looks pretty good from here. You pitch a tack on the front end. Let that cool a minute. And we're going to complete welding it out. I hope you all can see this arc in this video. Sometimes it's hard to catch that arc, but I'm just making a weld completely around this rod. The rod is bent here for this stand. And I will roll this thing over on the side to complete welding it. And this fixing to be welded way better than it ever was. And there we go. Now since I have it here, these welds aren't very nice here either, so I'm going to take my wire wheel and I'm going to dress that up, and I'm going to go ahead and fix that also while I have it here, and do this lady a really nice job. Now that's ready to be well repaired. We'll stand it back up here, and we'll weld over here. You can see it there and there. Again, we'll put our electrode in our electrode holder. And we got to be careful not to burn ourselves on the weld we just made. So we're going to get over here. Got that front part done. Let's get the back part. And one more time, lay this on the side and catch the other side. Trying to get this where y'all can see it. And that is it. We will pass the wire wheel over it to knock off the slag, they call it, left over from any weld you make with an electrode or a flux. Anything with a flux is going to leave what they call a slag. A lot of times you can see it just come off like that, and it is. Most of it is coming off like that. But I'm going to pass the wire wheel over it and make it a little bit better. Check the other side. And that is a complete job. So I hope you all enjoyed my video. I hope it was helpful, informative. I hope it taught you a little something about the welding process, especially with an electrode and the different types of electrodes. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, please, by all means, subscribe, like, and share to my YouTube channel. And please spread the word for me. Thank you all, and you all have a blessed day.